we do have a math check right now that we're going to get through. And yeah, we saw the headlines a couple of weeks ago that Michael Burry was getting long Microsoft, and that sent that thing higher. It's still trying to catch a bid here, but he's back. He's betting against the biggest AI winners. He's short Nvidia, Tesla, Caterpillar, Applied Materials, and the semiconductor ETF, saying today's market looks a lot like the dot-com bubble. Applied Materials and Caterpillar have soared roughly 130% and 86% this year, with both now trading above Wall Street's own average price targets. Nvidia is the outlier. Despite leading the AI trade, it's down from recent highs and trades at the lowest forward valuation in the group, making it Burry's most controversial short. The biggest takeaway isn't just what he's shorting, it's how. He's buying long-dated put options instead of shorting shares outright, defining the maximum risk while giving himself time for the trade to play out. The question is, if this rally finally cracks, which of these names breaks first? So, handful of names here. And I think when we look at the implied volatility of all of them, I'm just going to say straight up, I think if you're buying put options, it is going to be easier to do in lower IV environments than high IV environments, just because you pay less for that notional exposure. Same thing with calls to the upside. Like anytime you have the ability to get into a low IV environment, you can make more if you are directionally right than if you're in a high IV environment, because you're paying less, and that multiplication factor can really just play its role much more easily.
Yeah, true. I mean, I'm curious. I don't mean this condescendingly. I don't pay attention to guys like him anymore. I used to. I mean, I definitely did. And these days, I don't know if it's maybe because I've been around or I've fine-tuned my trading, but I always find it interesting when they harp on the positions that these guys are putting on or what they're doing. And again, people want to follow suit. This is one of the reasons why. Similar to signal versus noise, we talk about the flows and what's going on and what we see in these type of trades. So this dude's getting short. If I had to guess, which one of these breaks first, I mean, by break, I guess you mean like which one is going to have a 20% downslide. It's really tough to guess. I would say the ones that are weaker already, which honestly is Nvidia and Tesla. I could see one of those possibly having some weakness more. Well, again, that doesn't look very weak seeing the last 2 days of moves in Tesla. But overall, the big chart, yeah, it's kind of been weaker, right? Like Tesla's not on highs, Nvidia's not on highs, given the market is not that far from all-time highs. So that's kind of fascinating to me. But again, these guys, they have big theses. They always do. I mean, that's how he made his name. He had this huge thesis in the 2008, and it worked out. Obviously, a lot of people have seen the movie, of course. Go check that out. You'll kind of see. There's a couple of movies about it, of course. But I don't know. Would I follow these guys into these trades? No, not necessarily. I would wait for confirmation, honestly. And maybe they're right on whatever thesis. He's right on whatever thesis he has for why he thinks that these names are going to fade. But I just find it interesting, though, when you see AMAT, that stock, wow. I mean, that one is one of those high implied volatility tech names right now, way higher. You talk about high vol. Caterpillar's vol is amazing, and that story has been wild, seeing that stock run the way that it has. I mean, $1,000 now. So, but I think just to your point, I would probably try to play, if I'm going to try to play along with these, I'd probably go with the ones that have the most liquid options, which I would say is either Tesla or Nvidia, and probably the lower vol.
Yeah.
Out of all of those.
Agreed. And if we look at, I think I've pulled all these up here. So Applied Materials, if we look at, actually Applied Materials is the only one I didn't do, interestingly enough. In terms of just throwing up the Jan 2027 equidistant options, just looking at skew. So a lot of these have call skew, which I think is good for put buying if you're trying to buy puts, because again, you're paying less to get the same equidistant notional exposure. With that said, we look at like 720 or 700 where it's trading right now. You look at the 500, 900 differentiation here, $5,500 versus $12K. So yeah, all of these have call skew. Applied Materials, way more than the puts. Caterpillar, way more than the puts. Calls trading much more rich than the puts. Equidistant. Nvidia, same story. double the price, and then Tesla, same story. What is that? Double the price. Yeah. So I think in this thesis, you do have the ability to get into a downside hedge, I guess, if you will. If you're playing for a downside move in any of these products, they're cheaper to do on the downside than the upside. But again, we've talked about this before. If you get the directional move to the downside, you'll still make money, of course, especially with a long-term put. But you won't make as much as the upside move because the stock price is depressing, which depresses all extrinsic value around those strikes. So just something to keep in mind, but certainly a better scenario than if we saw put skew. If we saw put skew in these products, the multiplication factor would actually be much less because now you're paying a lot to get that exposure relative to notional, and that's always going to hinder your multiplication if you are directionally right.
Absolutely.
But that's it for the math check. Let us know what you think in the YouTube chat, in the comments as well. And subscribe to Tasty Live if you haven't already.